President Trump is once again taking on the Fed. In an interview with Fox Business, the president said economic growth would be topping 4% right now if the Fed hadn't raised rates late last year.
I don't care if I influenced it or not. One thing I was right, but we would have been over 4 if they didn't do all of the interest rate hikes. And they tightened. I mean, they did $50 billion a month. I said, what are we doing here?
Let's bring in Yahoo Finance's Brian Cheung now. So, Brian, the president pretty certain he is right on this. Do most economists agree with him?
Yeah, well, at the end of 2017, when the president actually put his tax cuts into place, the Federal Reserve only projected GDP growth in 2018, that was last year, of 2.5%. So it is kind of hard to believe on one hand that the president did expect that tax cut to generate 1.5% in extra GDP growth. But it is actually notable that we did reach, a number that was higher than that. 3.1% was the quarter-over-quarter GDP growth for 2018, which was more than the 2.5% that the Fed projected at the end of 2017. So it is notable there. However, the more remarkable comments from Trump in that Fox Business interview, again, as you mentioned, that aired this morning, was his continued criticism of Jerome Powell and the Federal Reserve, arguing that if the Fed didn't raise rates 4 times last year, that GDP growth would have been higher.
Now, you were at Jay Powell's news conference earlier this week. Did you get the sense that he's being influenced by the president or by the market reaction to that last rate hike?
Well, the Federal Reserve has been very insistent that all of its decisions have been independent, but you do wonder about the timing of the Fed deciding to go dovish and be patient on its path of rate hikes. I asked the chair in terms of how he sees the balance of fiscal and monetary policy in light of the lack of fiscal stimulus going forward, and he told me that he thinks that it's just an external fact about the economy for what the fiscal policy is doing. He described it as, quote, exogenous, and also said that the Fed won't overreact to those types of policies. So Powell basically saying, look, the Fed is going to make its own independent decisions aside from what the government is doing.
All right, Brian Cheung, thank you.